what I want to start with today. I was shocked. I'm really, really surprised. And this explains a lot of my frustration and my curiosity and my wonderment. I didn't see it, but I had a couple of emails from people who told me about it. Fox News ran on Friday night at 10 o'clock, a 1-hour special on the life of Dr. Krauthammer. And it's in conjunction with his new book, which came out last week, which is a good thing for him. It came out last week. And it's a compilation of his columns. And in the 1-hour special, it was revealed. Now get this, folks. When I first heard this, I had to double check it because I really didn't believe it. Dr. Krauthammer, in that 1-hour special, talks about not getting who and what Obama was early on. He says even after dining with him, after the election, George Will, the same thing, they did not really get that Obama is who he is. They didn't. This explains so much. We're sitting here and we're assuming, I'm sitting here and I'm assuming that all conservatives know a socialist when they see one. I am convinced that all conservatives know a statist and a big government redistributionist when they see one. Especially people like Krauthammer and George Will. It doesn't compute with me that they didn't know, that they didn't get. And the 1-hour special on Krauthammer, he says, he talks about, along with George Will, not getting what Obama was about early on. Even dining with him after the election and not understanding until 5 weeks after he was sworn in. It took him 5 weeks till after he was sworn in that they understood what it was Obama was all about. Now, contrast that with me on January 16th, a couple of weeks or a week, maybe 10 days before Obama's immaculated, and I'm all over everywhere saying I hope he fails. I'm on Fox everywhere. I'm on with Hannity. I'm on with Greta. I'm everywhere. And I'm figuring that every conservative knows exactly why I'm saying it and what I'm talking about. And I went to great pains to explain it. I mean, walked it step by step with Hannity on his show. I did the same thing with Greta. And I don't want anybody calling these guys. I'm not being critical here. That's not my point. I'm way beyond that. I made an assumption that every rock-ribbed conservative knew who Obama was during the campaign. I mean, for crying out loud, it's all there. Rules for Radicals, Community Organizer, all of the audio tape we had of Obama telling the SEIU people that his objective was single payer. Here he is 5 days before the election promising to transform the United States of America. And these guys, they say in that 1-hour special, it took them 5 weeks, which is about stimulus time. It took them 5 weeks to understand what Obama was about. And isn't it their job to know a socialist when they see one? Now, this explained. Now, I understand the conservative establishment not getting it because they probably didn't want to understand or see Obama that way. If you go back, if you can remember, from the time Obama was elected all through the transition period and then into January of 2009, well, let me just tell you a quick little story. After Obama was sworn in, and he announced, I think it was the National Security Advisor. I don't remember the name. Oh, yes, it was not. Maybe it was chairman of the Chief Joints of Staff. I might have James Jones. That's who it was. Remember Newt going on TV celebrating. He said, if you would have told me that somebody as leftist as Barack Obama would have nominated somebody like James Jones to run the Pentagon, you could have and it was accepted as a sign he's a moderate, therefore. And then Eric Holder is nominated, and our guys all made a mad our legal intellectuals made a mad dash to microphones praising the selection of Eric Holder. And I said, okay, what's going on here? And I just figured that they were saying the right things, trying to get off on the right foot, got a new president. It's historic. It's the first black president. Nobody wants to be seen as being critical. They don't want to avoid the racist charge. But at the same time, they wanted to be perceived by these gazillions of Obama voters as fair. And I'm just figuring they're just saying it, that they don't really mean it. They're just saying this stuff. But it turns out, folks, and I think this illustrates why there is a Tea Party. And that's because the revered thinking inside the Beltway didn't even see what Obama was during the campaign, in the transition. I just do not myself, and again, please, folks, I don't mean this as criticism. That's not why I'm even mentioning this. I'm mentioning this because it explains so much to me. I've shared with you my wonderment and my puzzlement over what seems to be this dwindling number of real conservatives out there, particularly in Washington. And this kind of opens my eyes a little bit about it. I don't know how you not know who the guy is. If maybe you read his autobiographies and you fall for that, maybe. But I just, with everything that was out there, I mean, Reverend Wright, think about all the stuff that was out there. And there was either a willful refusal to see it, or there was just real blindness about it. And I'm thinking, no wonder they look at Ted Cruz and Mike Lee the way they do. Maybe you want to throw some other names in there, Sharon Angle or Sarah Palin, maybe. It just, how in the world you do not know, as, even forget conservative as a Republican, how in the world you do not know who Barack Obama is. And then 5 weeks. And don't forget David Brooks during this period of time, the conservative columnist in the New York Times, actually says, after having dinner with Obama, and it was at George Will's house, and Dr. Krauthammer was there, and then David Brooks talking about this guy, the crease in his pants, this guy's going to be a great president. I kid you not. So we're sitting here laughing. Turns out these guys are dead serious. Those kinds of things to Brooks apparently were really telling about Obama. I guess somebody cares enough about the crease in their pants can't be what? Socialist? I don't know. But it really, when I was first told this, I didn't learn this till last night because I didn't watch this show on Friday night. I didn't watch the special that Fox did. So I had a note about this last night. Nah, that's just, that didn't compute. So I checked it out, and lo and behold, it was true. If you don't get who Obama is, then what must you think of Pelosi? And what must you think of Harry Reid? Or Bill Clinton? If you don't, and that's our side. And so to these people, to a lot of them, folks, you and me are the problem, and Ted Cruz and Mike Lee, we're the problem, and we're the ones. Yeah, I don't mean to make this personal, but the fact, when I said I hope he fails, that was not in a vacuum. I mean, it was all over everywhere. I wonder what people who didn't get Obama at the time, by their own admission, thought of that. They were probably just shocked and aghast and embarrassed. Oh, my God, this is not the way to kick off a new presidency, saying you hope he fails. Well, now George Will is saying he hopes Obamacare fails. He didn't say it on the air. He said it on the Fox News website after Fox News Sunday yesterday. Let's go to the audio soundbites. This is Fox News Sunday's website. They continue the show, but only on the web. It's called Panel Plus, and they do this after the show ends. They stay there for a while, and they just continue doing the TV show, but only on their website. Juan Williams is on the panel, and they're talking about Obamacare and the rollout. And again, by the way, speaking of that, wait till you hear this Obamacare stack today. I mean, they had a glitch at it. It was out of service for 14 states. This is getting ahead of myself. Rein it in, Rush. It's one of those times here when I want to say 15 things and the mouth can only say 2. So here's Juan Williams on the web version only, Fox News Sunday Panel Plus yesterday.
I just think it was a lot of schadenfreude on the panel this morning. And people, oh, yeah, Josh, isn't it terrible? Oh, my gosh, Obamacare is having trouble. Come on. The Republicans don't want this thing to work. That's the bottom line here.
Okay, so Juan Williams, I didn't see Fox News Sunday yet. I don't watch any of them anymore. And it's because I stopped learning things that I didn't know on them. That's why. It's not I don't dislike any of the people. It's just it's all formulaic. But apparently on the panel there's a lot of people like they're doing on Saturday Night Live now, making fun of Obamacare. They really trashed Sebelius on this thing. Oh, do you know Obama didn't know the NSA was spying on him? He didn't know jack, folks. Obama doesn't know jack. He doesn't know anything. And he's really opposed to it when he finds out. And nothing wrong with spying on Merkel. That's the kind of spying we ought to be doing. And I'm getting ahead of myself. So Juan Williams upset that all the conservative commentators on Fox News Sunday yesterday seemed to enjoy the fact that Obamacare's rollout was in trouble. Here's George Will on the web, not on the air.
I want to assure Brother Williams that there's no schadenfreude here because I'm not even pretending to be sorrowful. Of course I want Obamacare to fail because if it doesn't fail, it will just further entangle American society with a government that is not up to this. For 100 years, Juan, the narrative of progressives from Woodrow Wilson and on has been progress will come if, but only if, we concentrate more and more power in Washington, more and more Washington power in the executive branch, and more executive branch power in the hands of experts, disinterested experts, such as those who designed healthcare.gov.
They're the people that designed Obama. So here's George Will, perfectly comfortable now, saying, of course I want Obamacare to fail. Well, if you want Obamacare to fail, you want Obama to fail. And it's all I said is the same thing, except I said it 2 weeks before he was immaculated. For the exact same reasons he gave here on Obamacare, I said I want the whole kit and caboodle to bomb out. Okay, so after that sterling opening monologue, I'm putting the audio soundbite roster back together because the 2 bites I played were 16 and 17. I got my hands full. Brian walks in here and hands me something, and I said, I can't take it. Just put it down there. So I look at it, and it's the new book by Dr. Krauthammer. So, oh, well, look at it. I got a publisher's copy. How about that? So I open it up, and darn if it isn't signed. To Rush with Admiration, Charles Krauthammer. And then there's a note included that describes the book with respect and my very best wishes. And I looked at the staff. I said, the timing couldn't be more impeccable. How long has this thing been here? Since FedEx got here today? It's been here since Friday. The Krauthammer book has been here since Friday. Right. We were going to put it on my desk this morning. You forgot. And my monologue reminded you of it, right? So as soon as this is why I said, folks, don't you love it? A loyal staff. Remember we were talking about last week, wanting the leader, the boss to look good, willing to work as hard as it takes. This is why I said during the month, I don't want anybody calling or writing anybody. I'm not being critical. I was expressing genuine incredulity. I don't know how anybody on our side, but there were a lot of them, who either refused to or didn't see who Obama is. We got Woodrow Wilson incarnate here, FDR incarnate. How did they not know? Well, yeah, that may be, I guess.